Hi there, I'm Monica Lindstrom, and this is Legally Speaking. This week we're going to tackle the question of, is the death penalty really worth it? Now hear me out. I know emotionally the death penalty, a lot of people go for it. And in fact, people will say to me, well, if it was your friend or family that got killed, wouldn't you want the death penalty? And I say, yes, I understand that. I would want them to suffer until the end of time. I get that. But we're going to take this question and look at it from a financial point of view and a time point of view. You see, Arizona has 119 men on death row and 2 women. And on average, it takes about 12 years from sentencing until the actual execution where they stick the needle in the body and kill the person. That's a lot of time. So let's think about what goes into that time. First of all, we have all the pretrial procedures, okay? This is from the investigation, the cops being involved, getting all the evidence, getting the interviews done. The prosecutor is involved, and of course we pay for the prosecutors. They investigate everything, they file the motions in court. Oh, and we have the court. The court has to handle all the motions, all the court staff, both in the filing office all the way up to the judge in their office. And then we have the defense attorneys, because most of the time someone charged with first-degree murder, there is no way they can afford to represent themselves. So you have this entire pre-trial procedure. Then you also have to have experts, because we are dealing with a death penalty case. And then you have juries. They all have to take time off from work. So from the beginning until at least the sentence, you have so much time and so much money being put into one person's case. Then let's talk about after the trial. We know that there's several phases in a sentence when it's a death penalty case. You remember that from Arias, which is still going on. We had that in Marissa DuVois. She was sentenced to life. And now we'll have that coming up in the State versus Brian Halsey, which is the next death penalty case. It starts in a little over a week with Juan Martinez as the prosecutor. A lot of time. Once they're sentenced, there's the automatic appeal. That costs money, it costs attorneys, it costs court, it costs judges, and then you also have the requests for clemency that have to be written up and sent to the judge. Those are requests to not get the death penalty after it's been handed down. Now let's talk about the execution itself. The execution is inside a separate facility that has its own medical staff, witnesses are brought in, plus all the law enforcement people. It takes a lot of time to get that all together. It takes a lot of money and resources. Now let's think about the drug itself. The drug is a cocktail, typically 3 different drugs. One, puts them to sleep, unconscious, one stops breathing, one stops the heart. That's typically what's done. Well, the drugs are very difficult to get a hold of now because manufacturers have stopped selling them to the United States and other places that use them for lethal injections because they just don't believe in it. In fact, since 2010, Arizona has had to switch drugs 3 times because they are so difficult to get a hold of. Each time that happens, there's a different protocol that has to be created and approved, and Arizona has to fight the changes in the law, lots of lawsuits, and challenges by activists and lobbyists. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. Now, the death penalty probably isn't going away anytime soon. 32 states across our country have it, and they all use the lethal injection as their primary method. But after the information I just gave you, I'd like you to stop and ask yourself, putting emotions aside, is the death penalty really worth it? I'm Monica Lindstrom. You can go ahead and follow me on social media. You can hear me during the week between 3 and 7 p.m. on Mac and Gatos' show. That's Monday through Friday. And then you can also hear me on The Agenda Sunday nights from 6 to 8 here on KTAR, and I co-host that with Joe Huizenga. This is Legally Speaking, and until next time, take care.